School is the most important thing in your life. And while I hate school, I got a PhD. And I hate school. I hate everything about it. So somebody say, E, if you hate school so much, why you get a PhD? Because I hate school, but I love options. You can have average skill, but you can't have average will. You can't have average will. Like your will has to be phenomenal. You have to see basketball as the gateway. It's like a passport. Basketball is just your way to get in, and then once you get in, boom, then you dominate. So I'm telling you, you're not taking a test because they're giving you the test. You're taking a test that's about to change your life, your mama's life. And I know if you take the test serious, you'll kill it. When you go through your go-through, your siblings are watching you. When you go through your go-through, your friends are watching you. When you go through your go-through, your parents are watching you. And people will use your strength to get through their stuff.
What up? What up? What up? It's your boy E.T. Hey, look, let me tell y'all something. I have not lost any hope or faith in the education system in this country. You know, I've not lost any faith in teachers. You know, I'm just going to be honest with you. I have not lost faith, you know. And here's what I want y'all to do. Do not give up. Do not give in. I learned a long time ago the secret to success is just not giving up or giving in. You know, I learned a long time ago, like the only people who lose are people who quit. As long as you keep going, you're going to figure it out. You know, as long as you keep going, you'll figure a way out of that thing, you know? So shout out to all my teachers who, you know, felt like you needed to stop and quit for your own health. 1000% respect you. I hope to see you return though. I hope to see one day, you know, you get the rest that you need mentally, emotionally, and then you come back because they need you. And then for those of you who didn't go away, we appreciate you more than you ever know. And I just believe you reap what you sow, you will be rewarded. Now, maybe not by your principal. Okay, I don't know. Your superintendent, I don't know. But I'm telling you, you're going to be blessed if you stick with it. As I'm looking at, you know, Vondell, it was funny, Vondell, we were talking about you and Champs the other day, and I was like, man, I remember when you know, not when you first started, I wasn't there, but, you know, in a phase where it definitely wasn't you full-time doing what you, and I'm like, yo, a full-time. No, it was actually Train I was talking to. I was like, yo, Train, make sure when we go to Super Bowl, he know that that's it. We connected for life. Like, make sure you know that the programs are merged. You feel me? So don't quit. Don't give up. We're here to do 3 simple things. You know, one is to give you the energy you need to help you to succeed. You got to have gas in your car for it to work or electricity in your car. We're here to give you that. Number 2, we're here to give you those nuggets. You know, like I am where I am. Let me just say this. There are people that I know that come from the same background. I come from everything. But information changes situations. You know what I'm saying? Information. So we're going to give you some information that's going to change your situation. And then finally, of course, we're here to support you. Val, what's that email again?
info@extremeteachers.com.
That's it. info@extremeteachers.com. If you need us, you know, just let us know. Whatever we can do. We know that the schools aren't whatever. You want us to do a virtual piece on strategies, whatever. Just let us know, you know, and as we look at it, if it's something in our wheelhouse, we'll make sure we'll get it. All right. So before I go to Katie today, right, because we're going to figure out what we're talking about today, I'm going to shoot it to Val because it's BHM, as you guys know. It's BHM. So Val, talk to us. Talk to us.
Look, so y'all see my shirt, 1619. What is 1619? So what I learned, and I've just learned this fact. Actually, and it was a great conversation with Vondell. So Vondell and I were talking, and he took me to a new level. So 1619 is when the first slave ship arrived to America. It had 20 to 30 slaves on it. And it arrived in, let me get it right, Virginia in 1619. And a lot of people think it was Mayflower. They start with the Mayflower. No, let's go back. Let's go back. So one of the things that we're doing in the schools where I'm getting in is talking about we're changing the narrative. We're not talking about how we died. We're talking about how we lived.
That's right.
And a lot of energy is put on, well, his knee was on our neck and they shot us in the back. But what about the fact that we invented the 3-signal stoplight, traffic light?
That's it.
What about the horseshoe? What about chess?
Yes.
What about the gas mask? What about potato chips? What about the hairbrush? all of these amazing things that African Americans invented that we need to focus on the death. But this is our anniversary. This is just the anniversary for African Americans. So celebrate it like it's an anniversary.
That's right.
It's not a funeral.
That's right.
I just wanted to drop in the 1619 fact. And what are we doing in our homes to teach our children our history? And a lot of times at the end of January, the schools start getting calls. What are y'all doing for Black History? What are y'all doing for Black History? I didn't say it, but I want to say, what did you do 364 days before today to teach your child about Black history? Yeah. And I'm charging this to the African American, actually just parents, because it's American history.
Everybody, yeah.
It's not just Black history, it's American history.
It's American history.
What are you doing in your home to teach the history, the traditions, the legacy of not only your culture, but other cultures? So we have Taco Tuesday, but are we really talking about the heritage of those people? So let's figure that out.
You know what's so crazy, man? I was, and you know I love this. Okay, I do want to make one slight language variation, only because I was taught this. But Dr. Dagbovie at Michigan State University taught me to use the word enslave instead of the word slave.
Yeah.
You know, he was like, we were enslaved. Like, we're not slaves. We were enslaved, right? But I was at Josh House. I don't know if you guys know Josh. Josh is a business partner of ours. And Josh Hatch. Josh is probably about 6'8", white male, probably about maybe 34, 35. And Heather, his wife, is also a white female. And so we were at the house the other day, right? It was funny. We went out to eat in his neighborhood, and it was like, I could tell, like, it wasn't a lot of African Americans in his neighborhood. So it was funny. But I love Josh so much because Josh is like, I'm going to do my part, the little part that I can do, to let people know that every culture, has benefit, right? So we out to eat, we doing our thing. Heather comes and hugs us. Like, Heather doesn't even know racism exists. I love it, right? So we go to her house, and they have Hazel is probably maybe 2, and Hazel's playing with a black doll. And I was like, I love it.
Oh, I love it.
I love it. And Didi was like, is that? I was like, absolutely it is, and Josh was just like, yo, no, my daughter has black dolls. She has Latina doll. Like, he's like, every culture, my daughter is, what I'm saying? Like, we're letting her know that everybody is special, and and love everybody from birth, and so it's just, it's to your point, Val. I also think we speak so much about slave masters that we don't talk about abolitionists. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't talk about those individuals that didn't believe in that, the Quakers who didn't believe in, enslaving people. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't talk about that. And so when you talk about Harriet Tubman and the Underground Railroad, it was powerful, caring, white individuals, right? It wasn't necessarily just black people. You feel me? And so super excited, man, to not only share that history, but you guys know I'm learning a second language, and a part of learning, Spanish is also learning the Honduras population, the Latino, Mexicans, Colombian. People think Spanish is just one culture, and it's not. It is a variation. Matter of fact, my boy Francisco, who's my tutor, he'll be here today, and we're gonna go to a Mexican restaurant here, and I'm gonna shop, at the Mexican restaurant. You know what I'm saying? Then Sunday we're going to a Mexican church, and I'm gonna enjoy, a Mexican church while they speak, their native language. So it's not just about Black kids. It's just people, man. We gotta love on each other. We can learn so much from each culture. And so people ask me all the time, what race are you? I say the human race. I'm a part of the human race. What I'm saying? If you want to specifically identify me, I'm a part of the human race. So what you got there, Val?
So when I grew up, my mother was avid. She did not play. She wanted me to have black dolls. And when I was growing up, remember Raggedy Ann and Andy? Come on, I know. Come on, Age.
Don't tell my age, but no doubt.
Yeah. My mother had a lady who could sew, make this Raggedy Ann, and she made a black
Wow.
Raggedy Ann. And her
Wow.
hair is yarn. You can see her eyes, some of her
Yeah.
eyes go. But
Yeah.
I'm 54 and I've had
Yeah.
her since I was like 8 years old.
Praise God.
And I mean, she's
Oh,
a big dog.
Yeah, she looked just like you. Yeah. Yeah.
So
You're taking me back to rerun
Beautiful.
and what's happening.
Oh yeah.
So when you start saying that Josh's daughter had a black dog, I was like, yeah, and I bought her a little rocking chair, a baby rocking chair,
Praise
and she
God.
sits up. But I've had her, about 45 years.
I love it. I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Great.
All right. Well, Katie, talk to us. What's on the docket today? What are we talking about today?
Hey, you guys jumped in. This is what we're talking about today.
All right.
We're talking about, this is our last February episode. And
Okay.
so we're going to talk about Black History Month and education. What does this look like as we're talking about educators? And I love that we started talking about parenting already too. You guys know I love to talk about parenting as well. And how do we make sure that we are being a positive influence in shaping, the minds of the kids in our homes and in our classrooms, and celebrating Black History Month this month, but like somebody else mentioned here already, all of the time, all year round. So this is our topic. Let's keep diving in. I love it.
Well, I missed last week, right? And so I wanted to share this piece about trust. One of the things that I just don't think for whatever reason we get so, I guess, caught up into our, regular routines as teachers that, we don't pull from other teachers and other resources. So one of the things I've learned is the way you build trust with people is to introduce them to people they already trust, right? I think a lot of times, like, we try to do it on our own. We try to like establish trust, but sometimes it's like, hey, you can't establish trust. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, not in a bad way, but it's like if you would pull in other people that they trust into your world, then they would trust, right? So I started thinking about education, and I was like, wow, there are so many people in our communities who have gone to school and have benefited from school that we could just talk about those people to help kids to, understand the importance. So you've got, I pulled it up. Is it Kate Michelle? I think she's, kind of like a famous lady. She went to FAMU. You got Michael Strahan. He went to TSU. You got Spike Lee, right? You got Debbie Allen and her sister. They both went school. You've got Yolanda Adams. You've got Wale. You've got Snoop Dogg went to school. You've got Ice Cube went to school, graduated. Like, you got all these individuals that went to college, right? Whether they went to college and played ball, sports, or they went to college for acting, or they went to college for, what's his name? You guys are going to kill me. Y'all going to kill me. Y'all going to kill me. Black Panther. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I got. That's all I got.
Yeah.
Chadwick Boseman.
I went to Howard. You know what I'm saying? You have so many people that went to a college and they're HBCUs, and I would challenge our young people to go study some of these people. Rick Ross, right? They all went to school, when you think about like 106 in Park or whatever, the new BET stuff, they went to school, right? And we're just thinking they, just was on the block somewhere and just woke up one day and became famous. They all went to school. And I like to say, even though Kanye's, talks like, he's not in the school, I think both of his albums were college dropout, late registration, like that's school, right? And then, as I mentioned before, maybe he didn't have to go to college because his mother was the chair of the English department at Chicago State University. So
right down the street, yeah.
Yeah, he grew up in school. Your mom was a literary, phenom. You look at Tupac, whose mom was learned and was a part of the Black Panther, party movement, and was one of the, like really high ups, in the movement. So she was super educated. She was with Huey Newton and Bobby Seale and Angela Day. Like, she ran with these people. They all wrote books, and so I would just say to my young people, don't knock it till you try it. I always say, I do believe school's not for everybody. I just don't know who it's not for. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh,
I don't know who it's not for. You know, so
Like that. I haven't heard that.
don't say that. School's not for me. It might be. It was for Kanye. It was for Rick Ross. You know, it was for Michael Strahan. It was for Spike Lee. It was for Debbie Allen. You know what I'm saying? It was for these individuals. And these are some of the Martin Luther King had a PhD at 26. You know, it's like, come on, the people that we respect and we look up to, they not only took school serious, but they craved it. You know, they longed to go to school. They saw it as something significant, you know, and important, you know, not just go to school, but they revered it. You know, they saw the importance and the significance of it. So I just want to say to all our teachers out there, if you're tired of screaming and hollering about school, just show some of the people who went to school, show their salary, show Spike Lee's salary, show Kanye West. Kanye West is a billionaire. You know what I'm saying? Like show that the odds of those who are successful and not one-hit wonders, but those individuals who have had long-lasting success are individuals who are learned. So again, I'm not pumping up degrees, I'm pumping up school and the process of learning. So again, all my teachers out there, you know, if you're like, I don't, whatever, I have a white female, young lady that I met, I love. She's an educator. Guess what she did? I won't say her name on, you know, I don't know if she wants me to share her name. But she called me this year and was like, ET, I need a favor. I was like, what up? She's like, it's Black History Month. I'm not Black. I was like, okay, what you want me to do? She's like, I want you to do a video series and send to the kids in the class for me. I was like, I got you. I sent it to me. I sent it to her. She hit me like, yo, they loved it. They absolutely. And she said the part where you said at the end where, yo, are you going to have your name down as one of the greats of Black history? She was like, yo, you should have saw the way they were looking like, yeah, I'm going to be next. I've got another young lady who called me and asked me to do a book reading on the 9th at 8 a.m. for her elementary kids. I'm like, so that's what I mean. Like if you feel like, oh, they may not listen to me. Okay, you got people in your community that you love, you respect, that you look up to, that they would look up to, and just use those individuals. All right, now it's too late because by the time you're watching this, it's almost over. So I can't help you this year. But I got your back next year if you need me to do something for you. Mondale got your back. Val got your back if you need us to do something for you next year. So, all right, I said my piece. Talk to me, guys. Like she said, last, few days in Black History Month. As we think about Black History Month, as we think about, our kids in schools, et cetera, what are some of the things that, and we all have experienced, minorities in our classroom. We all care about students or we wouldn't be teaching, so what are some of the things that you would say to teachers to encourage them and inspire them, to help all our kids to continue to learn and take this thing serious?
One of the things that I love, is a great idea for teachers at the beginning of the year, find out the culture of all of your students. And if there is a heritage month for them or something that they celebrate,
I love it. Yeah.
Create the list, create the narrative, but then you can bring your parents in to be a part of that. And the parents can do a presentation or the student can to bring in kind of show and tell, but bring in some different items from their culture and talk about their culture. See if the parents can, cook a meal or you can have it catered from a licensed place. It doesn't have to be from someone's kitchen, but you do that and keep it simple, but figure out how to help them have pride in their culture, but other cultures to buy in and have pride in that culture. So one of the things at one of the schools where I am, I did a Black inventions exhibit. How do you do that? You just pull up Google Black inventions, right? Things that are invented by Black people, and the little things like an ice cream scooper. All of these things can be put on display. And the kids can look at them, and they had no clue that these things were created by African Americans. I put them in a clear shoebox so the kids couldn't pick it up, walk away with it. Hello. And I put them in clear shoeboxes and stacked them, and the kids could see it. And it's like, we invented that? Oh, we invented that? But when they saw the jumbo chessboard, it was like, we invented chess?
Yeah.
Yes. That
That's
was
so
like,
cool. I love it.
High school kids. Yeah. So you can do different things. What does that look like? I just put up quotes about African Americans. it's some amazing things that you can do to bring in different cultures. And I'm not just saying for the African American culture, but because it's BHM, I'm harping on what we did, but there are things you can do for each culture. And what does that look like? And then you can do the garb from each culture, like let the parents dress you for that day, and let the parents come in and explain what it is.
Yeah, no question.
This means this represents this. So the Tongan culture, which I'm learning about, which is my friend Fatai, she's from she's Tongan, right? And they have these, I call them skirts, but it has names and all, it means everything. So they made me one and I'm like, I could wear it. She was like, yes. So I have a Tongan sweatshirt. I call myself a Black Tongan, but you learn about other cultures and the pride that they take. So I always, what culture is that where they, I can't think of it.
Yeah, it's the same. It's similar. They're from New Zealand.
The blacks.
The black. Yeah.
The black, when you did, he talked about the blacks, right? Yeah. But that's the thing, like different things, and the kids will get excited. You just have to find the exciting parts about different cultures.
No question. Yeah. I want to ask Sam, because Sam, you've taken kids, from different cultures to Costa Rica, and I'm sure as you guys are there, they're experiencing the culture. I'm sure some kids probably learn as much Spanish as they possibly could in that time frame, so they could at least, do like some of the basic stuff. But I know you guys went to wildlife, did some other amazing things, ate the food while you were there. So what has been your experience of how exposing kids to different cultures like awakens, their minds?
Yeah, so first I want to give a shout out though to Miss Black in Lansing, because she was my 4th and 5th grade teacher. That she was actually my first Black educator. And man, did we learn so much about Black history throughout the year. I remember we had hot comb demonstrations. We learning about Wilma Rudolph, like family would come in, friends would come in. And that, like, I always think back to that, as an educator. And I remember things so vividly that, you realize like how much missing information you do have, just like what has been in our general education system, but also improvements that have been made. Like as a science teacher, Henrietta Lacks, like she was somebody that I had never learned about, but in biology class, it was like, yep, we're going to like as a teacher, I was learning about her for the first time. And so I was like, okay, yep, this is how I'd missed that when I was in school, but let's intertwine it. But I would say, E, just like basically what you were just saying with your tutor or coach that you're working with to learn Spanish. I loved how you just said you were calling out experiential learning. You're like, here, I'm getting ready to go to the restaurant, the grocery store, the church, which gives us even a bigger nod towards experiential learning and how important that is. But it's funny, because those are some of the experiential lessons that we incorporate before kids go off. So one of the things that the kids will do as they're learning Spanish is like, they'll get a budget, they'll get to go to the restaurant or order, look at the menu, speak in Spanish, order the food, and have it or whatnot. And learning more, what you were saying, Val, also like learning more about the culture also before you get to go and experience it helps you understand and appreciate your own culture as well, because when you're learning about another culture, you're also reflecting a bit about yours, right? It's a natural comparison that might be taking place, or, I know about this, but I don't know about this. And so I think all of that is super important. But yeah, as soon as you were saying that, and it's just like, I think the important part is as you learn about other cultures, you're just learning like, is it okay for me to ask these questions? Or like, how do I engage? I can try on the clothes, like the more and more comfortable you get with it, the more positive interactions and your willingness to be able to learn and put yourself out there. I think happens as well naturally.
I love it. Yep. I know, my daughter went to, so first she went to Sankofa, right, which was an African center, right? But unfortunately, it closed down. Then she went to Windermere, which is like maybe 50-50. And then she went to, is it the White something? I don't know. I don't remember the name of it.
Yeah, Dwight Rich. Dwight
Yes,
Rich?
Dwight. No. Haynes. Is it Haynes?
The DJ?
Yeah, it's a school here. Well, it was a middle school here in Grand Ledge. Yeah, it's just right there, right? And then she went to Grand Ledge High School, and she was a minority for sure. It probably was about 90-10, but she reflects now being at Michigan State how important it was for her, to have all those experiences. Jalen the same way. Jalen went right from Windermere straight to high school, which was Grand Ledge High School. And I'll never forget him saying when he played football, it was a community. That was weird to me. So he was like, my experience was different because I was already a part of a community. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you're a football player, even though you're with the whole school, you kind of with the football team, And so, he went to Michigan State, of course, was a general manager for Michigan State basketball. And as he works in Chicago, he's working with everybody, And so, he's downtown. So it's like a melting pot. For those of you who haven't been in Chicago, it's similar to New York. It really is. You got Irish neighborhood, Greek town, you got Chinatown. It's a melting pot. And so I'm so grateful that my children have had an opportunity to get a rich experience in their culture and know how to experience their culture in a broader culture, because a lot of times, kids just get one, and so my kids have been fortunate. And I'll be honest with you guys, my grandfather, my great-grandfather were Irish, my grandfather passed. And so my mom, myself, my aunts, like we all had been like, yo, we got to go to Ireland. Like we got to go to where grandfather was from, so it's just celebrating all of our, culture and all of our history, and so I would say this though, I just find that education is easier to embrace when it includes you, right? When you feel that you are a part of it, it just makes it so much easier. It's funner, right? And then I'll say this to you. And then it gives you confidence to branch out, right? It gives you the confidence, to branch out. And I just love, I spoke to 8,000 people in Dubai, and about 60% were Spanish speaking. And so I threw my little Spanish, in there. You feel me?
Yes,
I was
sir.
throwing it in there in my speech, and I wasn't comfortable with that 2 years ago. But now that me and Francisco are doing our thing, I was throwing my little stuff out there. And one young lady at a private event, she was like, man, your little accent is pretty good. And I was like, okay, but just the confidence, and then going to Dubai and other places, just feeling so comfortable branching out, and being able to talk to my Mexican, brothers and sisters about the Aztecs, and about certain regions, in California and Texas that were once, owned by them. You know what I'm saying? So just, and you believe it or not, I tell people all the time, in Cali, my Spanish is probably about 30%, but you should see people light up, especially when they know who I am and they see me trying to learn their culture. They're like, wow, E.T. trying to, you know what I'm saying? So they're not looking at me like, don't say that, you didn't say that right. They're like, wow, like they're happy, and so I want us to know as teachers, people love, when we branch out or when we, try to talk about their culture in the right way. They absolutely love it. So, yeah, I just want to encourage y'all, man. Yes. Not just Black History Month, but every month. America is just not one experience. America is many experiences. And the more we can love on, I was saying this to somebody earlier today. I don't know what's happened to our country, but there used to be a time when we could disagree, and still love each other, still have a relationship with each other. Like we didn't have to be clones or robots, but we need to be careful that we don't get to a place where it's like people can't have their own opinions and people are bullying people because they believe this or they believe that, and I do want to say that, man, that, we have to make sure that we respect each other. We respect each other's background. We respect each other's opinions, philosophical beliefs, lifestyles, way of living. Again, you may not agree with everything, you know what I'm saying? But we can still get along. We can still, because I'm sure if even amongst us, if we want to talk about some stuff that makes us different, we could. And if we wanted to focus on some stuff that, would upset each one of us about each other, we could, right? So when people are close, it doesn't mean they agree on everything. It just means that we prefer to focus on what we have in common and the things that bring us together than we would on the things that don't bring us together. So I just hope that at least in the schools, we can get to that place where we understand that we need to value everybody and we need to love on everybody and give everybody a chance. There are going to be some kids that are super bright and they catch everything quick and they get everything. And of course, we're going to love them the most, right? But then there are going to be some kids, it's going to take them a little longer to get it. But I'm going to tell you, when they do get it, when they finally get it, they're going to take it to a whole nother level when they finally get it. So let's celebrate everybody. Let's celebrate this country. Of course, there's some things that we could individually say that we don't like, but there's some things I've been to third world countries. And so let me just tell you that I love some of the luxuries. And when people get upset, they're like, Eric, why aren't you upset? I was like, man, that's a first world problem. That's not a third world problem. We got running water. I got a roof over my head. I have opportunities in this country. A lot of things I don't like, but there are a lot of things I do like. And I'm going to take advantage of those things I like. And we're going to continue to push forward on those things we don't like. We're going to keep challenging. You know what I'm saying? We're going to keep bringing before people. We need to make some challenges, but we're not going to get so bitter and so angry and so frustrated that we don't take advantage of the luxuries and the joys we have. And if you've ever noticed about this podcast, it is very diverse. And I believe that's what makes it great. And the work that we're doing in the world is great because we're all different. We all come from different backgrounds, but we're all super heroes. And we all are contributing, in a great way. All right, so let's do our round table quickly. Give us one thing that we can tell teachers as it relates to diversity and making sure that we don't have just vanilla, strawberry, and chocolate ice cream. You know what I'm saying? But when we go to, what is it? Give me one. I like Cold Stone, but give me, Val, give me your favorite one. I like Cold Stone. And I like Cold Stone because you could switch it up. They got Cold Stone that you could get your vanilla. If you want to get the chocolate chips in there, the Oreo cookies, the M&Ms, they'll take that thing and get it tight work for you. So give me another one, Val. What's another ice cream place?
Oberweis.
Okay. And they don't have
Oberweis.
And they don't have just one kind of ice cream in there, do they?
No, they got different flavors.
They got different flavors.
But,
all right.
But the butter pecan is the only one I know. That's
okay. That may be an Illinois. That may be an Illinois
That's
thing.
That's my favorite.
Oberweis. Okay.
Yeah. Oh wait, Katie likes it. So Katie's
butter pecan is my favorite.
She's saying butter pecan is her favorite.
Oberweis. Okay.
No, I don't have that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Baskin Robbins. We got a place in Chicago, Oprah's favorite things called Kilwins in Hyde Park. They got some pretty good ice cream too.
Flavors, y'all. Not different just flavors. One. Flavors. All right. So let's never get to the point where we try to bully and just have one flavor. Right? It's multiple flavors. All right. So talk to us, y'all. How can we keep these flavors alive in the school? I'll start with Sam. I love it. Okay. I love it. I see you.
Melanin.
Everybody got a little melanin. Even white people. Everybody got a little melanin.
Everybody got
everybody.
That's it. I love it. That's it. I love it. Good. Talk to me, Sam.
I would just say, in honor of Black History Month right now, it is more than a month. And so while it is important this month to highlight and celebrate and honor, I would also say, look at your curriculum throughout the course of the year, right? What Black history is American history, and how are you continuously intertwining Black history into the curriculum across the year and other cultures as well. I'm just, putting that out there right now in honor of Black History Month, but making sure that Black history and different cultures are represented throughout your entire curriculum.
I love it. Talk to me, Val.
Go big for every culture. Go big for every culture. Don't play anyone down or shady because it's not your culture.
Yeah.
So do what you can to make every student feel that their culture is just as important, regardless, even if they're not from here, because you get kids that's from other countries in your class. So celebrate them all. Let's go.
Let's get it. All right. Katie, talk to me.
I just have to repeat that you said education is easier when it includes you. I love that so much. I thought I'll write it down too.
Yes.
And I love it so much. And I know I'm going to touch literacy real quick. And I've said it in the past that doing an inventory of the books in your classroom based on level is really important.
Yes.
But doing an inventory on the books in your classroom based on who are the authors, what are the voices you're sharing with your kids, and also who are the characters in the stories, and are there books in your classroom, whether you're teaching kindergarten or 11th grade, that your students can see and hear themselves in. And if there are not, then we have to make that our mission to include those books in our classroom. And so even though we're ending Black History Month, and I'm sorry we didn't get to some of these things sooner, just like Sam said, this is an all year round thing that is our call as teachers who love all of our kids, that check the books in your room and make sure that our kids are having access to books that they can see and hear themselves in. And they're going to read those so much more willingly. It increases motivation and love for reading, which then increases their willingness to read more, which then increases their skills. So all these things are important, but let's please make sure that, I know Sam said curriculum for sure, but I'm just throwing out books too, that our kids have books that they can relate to and see and hear themselves in. It's so important.
Yeah, and I'll say, hey, make sure that you have staff members that represent, the cultures of the kids in your school. My daughter went to school and there was no African-American teachers, and my thing is don't wait. Schools are going to be super diverse, in the years to come, wherever, your district is, and even if you don't have kids of that culture, the students still need to interact with people from all cultures, because at some point when they go to college or whatever they are, and if they've never met or have experienced somebody before, how they're gonna, establish relationships and rapport. So I just think every school, if your school doesn't have a full-time staff, bring somebody in part-time. You know what I'm saying? Bring in a program. But I just think it just makes it easier when people come to a place and they see themselves. Somebody that speaks like them, understands their experience, and is able to whatever. So, let's make sure that our curriculum as well as our staff, is as diverse as possible. All right. Hey, it's your boy E.T. I know we all love to go to Coach B's office. This is the time that we go to Coach B's office. So, Coach B, take it away.
Welcome back, everybody, to the principal's office, where we review and recap some of the most impactful points from today's broadcast. We've got a ton to get into today, so let's not waste any time. Now, I should say that as we are filming this, it's currently February 2022, which makes this, of course, Black History Month. So today's topic is Black History Month in education. So let's jump right into it. Number one, show the value of education. So E.T. hit us with a good reminder. He said, look, Rick Ross, Chadwick Boseman, Spike Lee, Michael Strahan, MLK, all of these people that so many of us look up to, they all went to school. Even the ones that didn't technically go to school, Kanye West's mom was the chair of the English department, so he basically grew up in school. Pac's mom was super educated, for that matter. E.T. went to school. So when we think about the significance of Black History Month in education, start showing kids some of these people that they look up to, that they resonate with, and show them that they valued their education and they valued school and they valued the rewards that came with it. Number two, know your class. Val brought up a phenomenal idea. We talk so much about making each and every kid feel special and heard and valued. So she said that, look, at the beginning of the year, take a survey and learn the cultures of each and every kid that's in your class. Find out if they have a cultural celebration day or month so that you can celebrate them and their culture and use it as a teaching moment for everybody, and also help everybody else in the class get excited about getting that exposure to different cultures and all that comes with it. More often than not, kids love learning about this kind of thing, and it's a great way to get everybody involved. Last but not least, number three, education has to include you. E.T. told us it's easier to embrace education when it includes you. And when you teach people about their own heritage, their own culture, their own history, you automatically get buy-in from those kids. And from there, they're going to be a lot more comfortable branching out and learning about other cultures because they have confidence in who they are in their own history. So it makes it easier to learn about others. So just remember, if we exclude any cultures while teaching, we're going to fail to connect with those individuals. And we won't have the inclusion or the buy-in from students that we really want. So remember, inclusion leads to comfort, and comfort leads to confidence. Now remember, if you would like us to visit your school and have the Extreme Teachers team work with you and your staff on a professional development, all you have to do is email info@extremeteachers.com. All right. Now, visit www.extremeteachers.com to learn more about becoming a certified extreme teacher, to figure out how to take the DISC assessment, to explore our other products and services, and everything else that we offer. And of course, don't forget to use the link in the description below to nominate a teacher to be spotlighted on the podcast. Now, I'm not going to do a nomination today. I'm not going to read out anybody's information, but I just wanted to take the time in this segment to encourage you to nominate. I heard, don't quote me, but I heard we might be sending a couple of teachers to an all expenses paid resort in the coming months. I just heard it. I don't know. But if I were you, I would nominate some teachers. Maybe get somebody to nominate you too. Just thinking. Now, look, as we close today, I'll tell you something that I've been thinking a lot about lately is switching my mindset from doing the things that I need to do to becoming who I need to become. And what do I mean by that? I mean that on this podcast, we like to give a lot of actionable strategies. Like today, for example, we talked about doing that survey at the beginning of the year. It's practical. It's an actionable step. But then I think a little bit more about it and I say, well, what kind of person would think to do that on their own? What kind of person wouldn't just take the strategy and execute it, but on their own accord would come up with that and want to do it and even add to it? Who would do that? And you might say, well, that would be somebody who is inclusive and respectful of all cultures. It might be somebody who really cared about making their students feel welcomed. It might be somebody who's really invested in the outcomes of their students. And I said, the strategy itself is phenomenal and it can elevate me to new heights. But imagine if I intentionally and deliberately focused on becoming that person that I just described. How much more could I come up with on top of that strategy that we just talked about? How much better could I get? Because you see, life, it's really a game of cause and effect. And the outcomes that you're looking for are really just the effects of who you are on the inside. So the more that we can work on that together, the more that we can all become the most extreme versions of ourselves, the better we all get and the better we can all do for our students. Because what you do starts with who you are. So I'm going to go work on being even more extreme. And I hope that you do the same. Remember, you're watching the Extreme Teachers Video Podcast. We'll see you on the next one.